I will open my mouth with a parable. I will utter hidden things from of old. Pastor Todd here with a devotional for August 24th. A parable is an illustration by comparison, or an explanation by illustrations of comparison. In other words, the author takes a common experience of life or an event of history and brings it alongside and uses it to teach a spiritual lesson of truth. God's past dealings with Israel, as summarized in the rest of this psalm, form a parable of spiritual instruction full of lessons for God's people of all ages. The message is a paraphrase that seeks to insert examples from our culture as a means to explain truths. He went on, "No one cuts up a fine silk scarf to patch old work clothes. You want fabrics that match, and you don't put your wine in cracked bottles." Hidden things refers to an obscure idea or perplexing questions that require interpretation. It refers to interpreting or disclosing less obvious ideas or truth found in the history of God's dealing with His people, which under the Spirit's ministry the psalmist unveils. Old Testament history of God's dealings with Israel is revelatory, full of spiritual truth that needs to be understood and applied to our own lives. By observing God's gifts and faithfulness, His mercy, love, power, grace, and the way Israel failed regardless of their privileges, we can learn much that is essential for our own spiritual edification and warning. As Paul warns us in 1 Corinthians 10, verse 1, we have to keep in mind that much of what we don't understand in the Bible is linked to cultural illustrations that would have been clearly understood when the text was written, but is no longer understood today.